Hello, in this module of Python programming language, we have discussed about conditional statement. In programming language, most of the time, in large project, we have to control the flow of execution of our program. And we want to execute some set of statement only if the given condition is satisfied, and a different set of statement when it is not satisfied. Conditional statements are also known as a decision-making statement. We need to use this conditional statement to execute the specific block of code if the given condition is true or false. In Python, we can achieve decision making by using the following statement: if statement, if else statement, elif statement, nested if and if else statement, elif ladder. In this module, we will discuss all the statements in detail with some example. First, we discuss if statement. In Python, if statement is one of the most commonly used conditional statement. It decides whether certain statement need to be executed or not. It checks for a given condition. If the condition is true, then the set of code present inside the if block will be executed, otherwise not. The if condition evaluates a Boolean expression and execute the block of code only when the Boolean expression becomes true. This is syntax. If expression equal to true, then only block of code is executed. Otherwise, else condition will be executed and its block of code will be gives its output. Here, the condition will be evaluated to a Boolean expression, true or false. If the condition is true, then the statement or program present inside the if block will be executed. And if the condition is false, then the statement or program present inside the else block will be executed. This is the flowchart of this particular condition. Like if condition is true, then statement of if block will be executed, and if condition is false, then rest of the code will be executed. We can also understand with the help of this example. Like if input a is equal to 1 is given. Now in test expression, if condition if a small a equal to 1 and it is true, then body of a will be executed, that print a is equal to 1. And if it is false, end of the particular program. That means outside of this if statement. So if you observe the flowchart, first the control will come to an if condition and evaluate the condition if it is true. Then the statement will be executed. Otherwise, the code present outside the block will be executed. These are some example of if statement, like number will equal to 5, and if number is less than 10, do not forget this colon at the end of this if condition, then print number is smaller than 10. And this print, this statement will be always executed. So let's try to understand this one with the help of Jupyter Notebook. So first, number is equal to 5. It is definitely it's less than 10. So number is smaller than 10. This will be printed. But kindly see this. This print is with the particular indentation. That means this print line or this block of code is executed only and only if this condition is satisfied. But this line is not in this particular indentation. That means this statement will always be executed whether this statement is true or false. Let's try to run this program. So you see that number is smaller than 10. Yes, it is smaller than that. But this statement always executed. Let's try to do with this example like 15. So now you can check 15 is not less than 10. But though this statement will be, so this line of this statement will not be executed because this is not true condition. So that's why last line of print, this statement will be executed and it is printed. Then example 2 with less than and small than number. If a is equal to 7, b is equal to 0. If a greater than b, then print a is greater than b. In this case, a is definitely greater than b, so that's why this statement is printed. If it is not, then no, like 8 and 9, so none of the statement will be printed, because this condition of if is not true in this particular case. Then example 3 that already discussed. Now 4 is that for true and false condition, like this one, a equal to 7, b equal to 0. If a, then print true. So a means if this number is positive, then it indicate print true, otherwise it's false. This is a equal to 7, so that's why this code gives output as true. So this is true. Okay, so in the above example we are saying evaluating a condition in the if statement. Always remember that in a programming language, the positive integer will be treated as true value, and an integer value which is less than 0 or equal to 0 will be treated as false. Here the value of 7 is positive, that's why it's console gives output as a true. Another example of if statement, that if Python in this particular list, Java, Python, C#, yes, it is there. So then if it is true, then print true. Yes, that is gives output as a true. So now let's take another example with some kind of examination point of view, mark point of view, that you have written an exam of total score of 100, and if your score is above or equal to 60, then you will be considered as a pass in the exam. So let's try to run this program. So print passing score is 60, my score is 67, and if it is greater than or equal to passing score, then congratulations, you have passed this particular exam. In this case, yes, it is greater than, so that's why output gives you congratulations, you pass your exam. That's it. If it is less than, then it will not printed. So in this case, what happened, like in we have discussed this kind of case earlier, like this one. This print, this last statement of print is not in the if block. That means this congratulation is always printed whether you pass or fail. Like in this case you have passed because 67 is my score and passing score is 60. So let's check first this code. So in this case you pass the exam, congratulations. But if you put here 57 and you are failed because 60 is, you will not get minimum marks 60, though message is congratulations. This line is not executed. Why? Because this you pass the exam only executed if this particular block or this particular condition is true. So in this case it is not, so that's why this print you pass the exam is not executed, but print congratulations is executed. I hope you understand the difference of indentation in this particular conditional statement. Now second is if else statement. The statement itself says if given condition is true, then execute the statement present inside the if block, and if the condition is false, then execute the else block. The else block will execute only when the condition becomes false. It is the block where you will perform some actions when the condition is not true. If a statement evaluates the Boolean expression, if the condition is true, then the code present in the if block will be executed. Otherwise, the code of the else block will be executed. This is the syntax of this particular if else statement. Like if expression equal to true, then statement of body of this block is executed. Otherwise, else statement of body will be executed. This is a flowchart of if else condition. As a condition, it is true, then statement of if block will be executed. If it is false, then statement of else block will be executed. Otherwise, the rest of the code will be run. We can also understand with this particular example, like if input a is equal to 1 and condition is if a equal to 1. If it is true, then body of if is executed and print a is equal to 1. If it is false, then body of else is executed and print a is not equal to 1. So this is the flowchart of if else. If you observe the above flowchart, first the controller will come to if condition and evaluate the condition if it is true. and then the statement of if block will be executed, otherwise else block will be executed, and later the rest of the code present outside if else block will be executed. So we can try to understand with this particular example, like if number 5 is given, if number 5 is greater than 10, or given number is greater than 10, then number is greater than 10, else number is less than 10, and this statement is already executed as for earlier question, because this is not the part of if and else block. So this statement always executed whether this number is greater or smaller than 10. In this case, number is 5, so it is less than 10. So let's check. So is less than 10, this statement will be executed. You can also check that if it is 15, the first statement and last statement will be run. So number is greater than 10, and this statement will be executed. Okay. So next is a greater than smaller than example, like a is equal to 7 and b is equal to 0. So if a greater than b, print a greater than b, else b is greater than a. In this case, a is definitely greater than b. That's why first line a is greater than b is printed. It will be executed. This is the another one when in this case a is less than b. So this one a is less than b. So b is greater than a is executed. Okay, b is greater than a is executed because b is 8, a is 7. Now next example about the same similar kind of example that we already discussed earlier, that about passing exam or score, that 60, your score is 67, then if your score is greater than 60, then print congratulations, you passed the exam and you have passed in the exam, both the message at the same time, otherwise fail the exam. Like in this 60 greater than 67, so my score is greater than or equal to 60, so you print congratulations, you passed the exam, you are passed the exam. So this both the statement are part of this if condition. So whenever this if condition is true, then the both line will be executed, otherwise this else condition will be executed that prints sorry you failed the exam, better luck next time. So in this case 67 is there, that's why if condition is true, so both this line will be executed. And if you have change here with 47, then you see that sorry you failed in the exam, better luck next time will be executed. Okay, so this is this two line part of if block, and this one line is part of else block. Next is a elif statement. In Python we have one or more conditional statement called Alif statement. Alif statement is used to check multiple conditions only if the given condition is false. It is similar to an if-else statement, and the only difference is that in else we will not check the condition, but in Alif we will check the condition. Let's try to understand with the help of this particular example and syntax. So if Alif statement are similar to if-else statement, but Alif statement evaluate multiple conditions. So first if condition is checked, if it is true, then set statement to execute if condition is true. Alif set of statement to be executed when if condition is false. That means this condition is false, then only this elif condition will be executed, and it's true. Else set of statement to be executed when both if and elif condition are false. Okay, let's try to understand with the help of this particular example. If number is equal to 10 and if number equal to 0, that is not, because number is equal to 10, then print number is 0. If elif number greater than 5, yes, number is greater than 5 because it's 10, so print number is greater than 5, else print number is smaller than 5. So in this case print number is greater than 5 will be executed. Let's try to run this program. So number is greater than 5. If you put here 1, then number is smaller than 5 will be there, because first two condition, if condition is also not satisfied, is false, elif condition also false, because number does not equal to 0, number is not greater than 1, so number is smaller than 1. So both condition are false. In this case else condition will be executed. So number is smaller than 5. If you put 0 here, so first condition satisfied, so number is 0, so these two conditions will be not executed, but first condition is executed because if condition is true. I hope you clear with this if, elif and else condition. Then this is the similar kind of example. In this case, minus number is there. So if number is greater than 0, then number is positive. The number is less than 0, the number is negative, else number is 0. So in this case, minus 7 is there. So number is negative will be printed. If you want to check this, then you can run this on Jupyter Notebook. Okay, number is negative because minus 7 is there. Okay, so in the first our example, we are assigning the value of 7 to variable called numerator. The control will come to if statement and will the Boolean expression number greater than 0, but the number is not greater than 0. Hence if block will be skipped. So this block will be skipped because number is not greater than 0. As if even condition is evaluated to false, the controller will come to the elif statement. Now this is false. So now controllers move to this elif statement. If this is false, and evaluate the Boolean expression number less than 0. Yeah, hence in our case number is less than 0, so number is negative is printed. In both the case, if and elif conditions evaluated to false, then the set of statement present in the inside the else block will be executed. That we already discussed in a later example. Next one is a nested if-else statement. Nested if-else statement means that an if statement or if-else statement is present inside another if or if-else block. Python provides this feature as well. These in terms will help us to check multiple conditions in a given program. An if statement is present inside another if statement, which is present inside another if statement, and so on. So this is the nested if-else syntax. If condition, then if statement to be executed if condition is true. If condition, statement to be executed if condition is true, and of this nested if and of this if condition. So the above syntax clearly say that if block will contain another if block in it, and so on. If block can contain n number of if block inside it. So this is a flowchart of nested if else condition. That input a equal to 1, then condition is if a modulo 2 equal to 0. If it is true, then another test expression, another if condition, that if a greater than 1 and a less than 10. If it is true, then body of this second part of if will be executed. Otherwise, if it is false, then condition is first test is false, then print a is not divisible by 2, and the second condition is false, then similar kind of thing, print a is not divisible by 2. If both the conditions are satisfied, this one and this one, so it print a is divisible by 2. So we can check with the help of this particular example that if number is equal to 5, if number is greater than 0, yes, print number is positive. If number is less than 10, yes, print number is less than 10. So both the conditions are satisfied. Number is 5, greater than 0, yes, less than 10. So both the statements are true, and that's why both the output are there. So this is another example. In this case, nested if can be clearly seen that if first if condition is there, if number is not equal to 0, here example number is 7, so not equal to 0, then it is true. So if number is greater than 0, yes, number is greater than 0, the print number is greater than 0. So this is the example of nested if else condition. So here the control will check the given number is not equal to 0 or not. If the number is not equal to 0, then it enters the first if block, and then in the second if block, if it will check if the number is greater than 0 or not. If it is true, then the control enter the nested if block and execute the statement and leave the block and terminate the program. This is another example of the nested if else condition. In this case, if I is equal to 10. If I equal to 10, yes, I is equal to 10. So this is true. If I less than 20, yes, I is less than 20. So print I is smaller than 20. If I is less than 21, yes, I is less than 21. So print I is smaller than 21. So in this case, both the statements are true, and so both the statements are printed. At n is smaller than 20, n is smaller than 21. Then nested if else syntax, that if condition, if statement to execute if condition is true, if condition statement to execute if condition is true, this else statement to execute if condition is false, else statement to execute if condition is false. So here we have to include the if else block inside if else block. You can also include an if else block inside else block, like here if and else both are there inside this if condition. You can also include if else block inside this else condition also. So we can check with this example that number is equal to -7. Number does not equal to 0. It is not the. If number is greater than 0, print number is positive. As number is negative. As if these both are not true, as print number is 0. So in this case, first condition is true. If number is not greater than 0, okay. If number is greater than 0, no, this condition is not true. So false. So now next, else is print number is negative. Yes, number is negative because -7 is there. So this statement is executed as print number is 0 is not executed. So let's do this. So print number is negative. Then Alif ladder. We have seen about the Alif statement, but what is this Alif ladder? As the name itself suggests, a program that contains a ladder of Alif statement or Alif statement are structured in the form of ladder. This statement is used to test multiple assignment or expression. Like this is the syntax of this: if condition, set of statement to execute if condition is true, Alif set of statement to be executed when if condition is false, this condition is false, and Alif condition is true. Another Alif condition, that set of statement to be executed when both if and first, this first if and first, sorry, for if and first Alif condition is false and second Alif condition is true. Then Alif condition, next the set of statement to be executed when first Alif and second Alif. If condition is false, first and second Alif condition is false, at that time this Alif condition will be executed. And else set of statement will be executed when all if and Alif condition are false. So this is the ladder kind of thing. So we can understand with the help of this particular example that my marks is equal to 90. If my marks is less than 35, sorry, you have failed exam. If Alif, my marks is greater than 60, yes, it is greater than 60. And here and condition is there. And my marks are greater than 100, no, it is not greater than 100. So this is not true because and condition. Of all conditions there, then it is definitely true. But here and condition. So at the for and condition, both the statement must be true to execute this particular statement. But this is not the case. So that's why we move to the else condition. Print pass in the first class with distinction. So in this case, else condition is true and the opposite condition if and else if condition is not true. So printed pass the first class with distinction. Okay. Then Python if statement one line. We can also able to write one line program for if else condition. How it is there? So if first of all syntax of normal if condition set of statement to be executed if condition is true. So in Python it's permissible to write the above block in one line, which is similar to the above block. How? The syntax is if condition semicolon set of statement to execute if condition is true. There can be multiple statement as well. You just need to separate it by semicolon. There is any number of statement will be present in the one line representation. So this is the syntax of one line present. If condition statement 1, 2, 3 all are separated by semicolon. If condition is true, then execute statement 1, 2 and up to n. In case if condition is false, then none of the statement will be executed. Now we try to understand this example. If number is equal to 7, if number is greater than 0, yes, it is greater than 0. So print number is greater than 0. So print number. So this is a one line statement. The second example, if a equal to 2, then if a is, then yes, it is true, it is positive, print the given value of a. So it is positive, that's why this condition is satisfied. So the given value of a is 10. If else statement in one line, sentence if condition set of statement to be executed if condition is true, else set of statement to execute if condition is false. The above if else block can also be written as shown below. Like syntax of this if condition set of statement to execute it if condition is true, else set of statement to execute if condition is false. So this can be multiple assignment. You just need to separate by semicolon. This is the so this is the we try to understand with the example. If a includes a, then orange. Is there includes no? So this is not this. Else print mango and grapes. So mango is printed. Okay, so mango and grapes will be printed because A is not present in these fruits. Then Alif statement in one line. There is a normal syntax of if, elif, else condition. So if condition, set of statement executive conditions to Alif condition 1, set of statement to be executed if condition 1 is true, else set of statement executive condition and condition 1 is false. So this can be also written as a one-liner, that syntax if condition set of statement to executive conditions to Alif condition 1, set of statement to executive conditions 1 is true, else set of statement to executive condition and condition 1 is false. There can be multiple statements as well. You just need to separate it by semicolon. So here the syntax of this particular if, Alif and else condition with the n number of statements, they are separated by semicolon. We try to understand with this example. Here number is equal to 7. If number is less than 0, that is not the case because number is 7, print number is smaller than 0. Alif, number is greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. The print number is greater than 0. Else, print number is 0. So in this line, Alif condition is 2. So that's why this line will be executed. So number is greater than 0. Now we try to understand another example, that if u in fruits, yes, u in fruits are available, fruits, u is there present in these fruits, print apple and print orange. Alif, e and fruits, print mango and grapes, e is not there, else no fruit available, but in this case u is present in fruits, so apple and orange will be printed. So if you run this block, then you can see that apple and orange will be there at the output side. Multiple condition in if statement. It's not that you can only write one condition inside an if statement. We can also evaluate multiple condition in if statement like below. So like this is a 3 statement, number 1, number 2 and number 3. If you want to check with a single line that number 1 is equal to 10, number 2 is equal to 10 and number 3 equal to 30. So all conditions are true, that's why this will be executed at the output side. Okay, all conditions are true. So we can also understand with the different kind of example, like fruit's name is there, and if we give an or condition, we already discussed earlier with the help of and condition. Here or is there. So or means any condition is true, like this one is true, or this one is true, or this one is true, then this will be printed. In and condition, all of them must be true. Then and then only this statement will be executed. So fruit name is apple. So if fruit name equal to mango, no, it is not mango. Fruit name is apple, yes, it is apple. Or fruit name is grape, no, fruit name is not grape. So print is fruit. So in this case, second condition is true. That's why print is fruit. Okay. Then we try to understand one of these condition with the very best example of leap year. That first we have decided, or we have to try to find whether the enter year is a leap year or not. So we have entered the year with the help of this input function. As we already know that whenever you put input function, it will provide you a string type. So we have put here integer for type conversion because we need a number. So first we enter a current year, then we have to also try to check the month and the day in the particular month. So enter with the help of input function, as earlier discussed, input gives a string type. So we use a type conversion and apply integer. So finally it gives a value. Now we check if current year is modulo 4 equal to 0. That means you have entered some year number and its modulo gives 0, and this is the AND condition. That means this and this condition must be satisfied to run this particular line. Current year modulo 100 does not equal to 0. So the whatever you enter the year modulo 100, it is not equal to 0, or that means either of this condition must be satisfied. Current year of modulo 400 equal to 0. Then print leap year. So this is the condition for leap year. Now we want to check how many days are there in this particular month. So if month 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 or 12, print there are 31 days in this month. Alif month 4, 6, 9 or 11, then there are 30 days in the month. And Alif month equal to 2, that is February month. There are 29 days. So in leap year, there are 29 days in the month. All else, we already give all the condition 29 and 30 and 31. So it provide invalid month, like if greater than 12. Okay. Then we can also check for the non-leap year with the same month and its day in the particular month, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 12. If you enter 13, definitely it provides invalid month. So let's try to understand, try to run this program. So first enter the year. So I just entered 2004. It is leap year or not? Yes, it is definitely leap year. So now we have to check a number of days in the leap year. So let's check with the February month. So 2. 2 means February. So how many days are there? There are 29 days. Yes or no? We can also check with the help of non-leap year like 2003 and second. So in that case, there are 28 days in the month. So there are 28 days in the month. So that is from this particular portion. There are the some of here questions are there which are frequently asked. Can you write else if statement in one line? Yes, definitely. With the help of you can understand with this example, number is equal to 7, output is greater than equal to 0. If number is greater than 0, else smaller than 0, and print output. So if in this case number is greater than 0, so it gives output as number is greater than 0 because output is printed. So greater than 0 will be there. Then how do you write if else statement in Python? We I think already discussed this kind of thing, that this is the syntax of if else thing. If condition is true, then there is a statement of body of if condition. If condition is true, then only this part is executed. Otherwise, if it is false, then else condition will be executed, and this is the body of else condition. This is the basic syntax of if else statement. So what are elif statement in Python? Elif statement is used where we have a lot of conditional statement between if and else. To avoid the use of multiple if statement, we consider elif to be used. The program will check all the written condition. If the elif statement will be true, then the block of code under the statement will be executed. Okay, what does this particular mean equal to in the Python? This is simply comparison operator. It will return true if this item are equal to each other and return false. This is a basic example. A is equal to 12, B equal to 12. Yes, it is both are same. So value of A is equal to B is printed because both are same. Otherwise, we will use not printing. This is a very simple example. So we try to run this Jupyter notebook. So because A and B are both are same, so the value of A is equal to B is printed, and it is 12. What does Python pass do? The pass keyword will act as a space for future code in the Python. If it gets executed, nothing will happen and will give no output. Like it is a there for future use. Okay, so it is used because of empty function. Loops or classes are not allowed in the program. For this, Python develops the keyword which we can use if we don't know what to write in the particular function or class, but can be used for future use. This is a simple example, definition demo and pass. In this case, nothing will be there. If you run this, so nothing will be there. So output is nothing. So now we conclude this. In this Python if statement module, we learn about conditional statement in Python. There are statements that alter the controls of execution in program. We have different types of conditional statement like if else, elif, nested if, and nested if else statement, which control the execution of our program. Python if statement evaluates a Boolean expression to true or false. If the condition is true, then the statement inside the if block will be executed. In case if the condition is false, then the statement present inside the else block will be executed only if you have written the else block, otherwise it will do nothing. We have one more statement called elif statement, where the else statement is combined with an if statement which execute depending on the previous if or elif statement. So that is from this particular module. Thank you. This is the reference from this for this module. This is software test helping.com.